Top 5 Indian cinema releases of 2025. Yes, I have ranked the best of the best, the creme de la creme according to me, and there's a surprise plot twist. So basically, I'm going to give you a surprise book vibe. If you love the movie, I'm going to tell you what book you should read next to keep that specific brand of trauma or joy alive. Yeah, ready to judge? Let's go. Let's clear the palate with honorable mentions before we move on to a main course of the 5 best movies. Now, these movies, they are great. They haven't made my top 5, but trust me, they have filled my heart full of joy, trauma, or ate all my popcorn. First up is Deva. Now, I need to tell you this, I am the biggest, largest fan ever of Shahid Kapoor. But even if I wasn't, you still need to watch this movie, okay? So I'm legally obligated to start at Deva. And yes, it is a great movie. It's a great thriller. Don't go into this movie judging by its box office numbers, which I thought it was around like 50 crores, which is honestly so disrespectful for this movie. And if you haven't watched the original South Indian movie, this is like a cop drama, but it's a very different kind of cop thriller drama. It features a rebellious officer trying to solve a high profile case, and he has his own volatile nature of solving the case, and the acting is spectacular.
And this time I want full freedom.
It's really a different kind of thriller. It's gritty, internal, intense, and if you don't care about anything, you need to watch this movie just for Shahid and his acting. Nobody does this tortured genius better than him. This movie is available on Netflix, and I give this award the HR Nightmare with a Heart Award. Now for the surprise book vibe, if you want a gritty, intense thriller with a vibe of Deva, and you need to read this book. It's dark, atmospheric, and just unputdownable. It is Patang by Bhaskar Chattopadhyay. Next up is The Diplomat. Now, you have usually seen John Abraham in roles where he is throwing bikes with his muscle power at people, but in this movie, he puts his muscles at play to play the role of a diplomat who is trying to rescue an Indian girl trapped in Pakistan.
नाम क्या है तुम्हारा?
मैं
क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
ताहिर ने
ताहिर?
सर उसने जबरदस्ती शादी की है मुझसे.
You should watch this movie not only for John's polite diplomacy acting, but also because it's based on this harrowing story. It's based on a real life story of Uzma Ahmed and how the horrors this woman faces in a forced marriage in a foreign land. It will just keep you hooked and terrified throughout. It is stressful, it is emotional, and it proves that sometimes a well-placed word works better than a fist. The award it gets is, I could kill you with my pinky, but I choose my word award. Now for the surprise book vibe. So what this movie in essence also captures is how do I escape vibe of a person who is forced into a marriage, but she can't escape from it. And from the outside, everything looks perfect, but from the inside, do you know? You never really know. So the book is Behind Closed Doors by P.A. Paris. Next up is Lalo Krishna Sada Sahayate. Now this is a Gujarati underdog which came out of nowhere. Trust me, it was made on such a tiny budget. No one knew about this movie. No one was talking about it. But it went to become this huge blockbuster. It earned around 100 crores. The plot is essentially about this debt-ridden auto rickshaw driver who finds himself confined or locked up in a farmhouse. And over there, in the worst of his circumstances, where he's in his near-death moments almost, he gets life-changing visions of the Lord Krishna. You need to watch this movie because you need to feel the sheer honesty with which this movie was made. It portrays God in a manner which is not PG, but it's deeply emotional and it's deeply human. And it's one of those movies that's going to cleanse your soul. The award it gets is the modern day Shawshank Award. And now for the surprise book vibe. So now this movie captures kind of beliefs and miracles, and maybe sometimes the stories we tell ourselves to survive. And if you want a book that feels that same way of, this magical, this flowing quality of something which blurs the line between the real and the imaginary, I have the perfect book for you. The book is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. If you love the fable quality of Lalo, you will get lost in this book as well. Next up is Baramulla. Manav Kaul over here, he features as this cop who's investigating some missing children in Kashmir, only to later find out that the main culprits might actually be ghosts with a tragic past.
सर ये सब बच्चों को एक-एक करके क्यों उठाया जा रहा है? और सर एक बात अभी भी समझ में नहीं आ रही है, ये बाल काट के फेंक देने का क्या मतलब होगा?
Watch this if you want to be terrified out of beautiful landscapes. It is atmospheric, it is moody, and it sometimes shows you that probably Kashmir is one of the most beautiful places which can scare you the hell out of your mind. An interesting fact about the movie is that they actually shot it in sub-zero temperatures, so the shivering you see on screen, no, that's not method acting. That's literally what the actors suffered for the art. The award it gets is I'm Sleeping with My Lights On award. Now for the surprise book vibe. Now this movie is about missing children and something like kind of wrong in the whole atmosphere about it, but you cannot put a finger on it. So I'm going to recommend you a psychological horror puzzle that deals with the same sense of, lost and confusing reality. I'm telling you, this book is going to blow your mind in the same way that this movie did. Yes, I'm talking about The Last House on the Needless Street by Catch Award. And the last palette cleanser will be Mahavatar Narasimha. Now, this is a movie that took the Indian animated film industry by the shoulders, shook it and said, grow up. This movie just decimated the box office and it earned around like 300 crores, becoming the highest Indian grossing animated film ever. This movie is about this tyrant king who has like these special boons where he cannot die in day or night, he cannot be killed by a god or a man, or an animal. So there are like many puzzles basically kind of making him immortal. But we have our Narasimha god, who is this form of Vishnu avatar, who is half man and half lion, and he finds the loophole in all this to end this king. This movie is visually spectacular, culturally epic, and proves the point that sometimes you don't need a live action to feel the wrath of God. The award it gets is the Pixar Who Award. And for the surprise book vibe, if you love the mythology aspect of it, I'm going to recommend you a book which is mythologically spectacular and it's going to turn your gods into an action hero. And it's also a major blockbuster hit in books. Yes, it's none other than The Immortals of Meluha by Amish Tripathi. Finally, moving on to our top 5 in no particular award. I love all of them a lot. They are all creme de la creme. Starting off with Kantara Chapter 1. This movie didn't break the box office. Mind you, it shattered it, pulling in a colossal around 800 crores worldwide. And this kind of proves the point that maybe folklore is the new superhero drama. In this movie, we move back to the 4th century where it was the Kadamba dynasty, and we have this evil king who wants to control the divine, and they go to this origin stories of Panjurli Deva. This movie is actually a prequel to the first movie, which I have to tell you, it had the finest moments of Indian cinema in the last 10 minutes. You have no idea how many times I went and watched the last scene of that movie over and over again. Do you need to watch the first movie to watch this part? No, it's a prequel, so it's fine, but your experience is going to be enhanced if you watch that first. And I'm telling you, this movie topped that. You need to watch this movie because it's a full sensory experience, and Rishabh Shetty, he handled both the acting and directing of the movie with such emotional intensity that I'm saying it is borderline obsession at this point. And this man is just a machine. Like, he is a trained yakshagana artist, a theater form that combines art, dialogue, and music. And he spent 2 years to learn Kalaripattu just for this movie. And Rukmini Vasant as Princess Kanakavati, oh my god, this movie has such a strong female lead character. Like, sometimes you find that missing in movies of these days, where you find a lot of strong male characters, but strong female characters, formidable female characters are hard to find, and this movie will give you that also. The production quality of this movie is just baffling because they prioritized practical effects over VFX and green screen. They built this massive 25-acre set, and they had to apply makeup or prosthetics for 5 to 6 hours daily before shooting. Just imagine the level of dedication for this. And all this comes together because the blood, the mud, everything you see on the screen just screams real. And because all this was done even before Red Chillies touched the VFX, which was great as well. I'm telling you, watching this movie in the cinema hall was one of the best decisions I've made. It was a long movie, but it was just so entertaining. No one even moved a bit. Everyone was just hooked onto the story, hooked onto the art of it, hooked on into the acting. It was just perfect. The award it gets is My Ears Are Ringing, but My Soul is Cleansed award. Now for the surprise book vibe. If you love the divine warrior energy of Kantara, you're going to love this book. It's Naga Warriors by Akshat Gupta. It's raw, violent, and deeply spiritual account of just 111 Naga sadhus who stood against thousands in a battle that happened in 1757. If you love the ancient valor of Kantara, this book is the perfect chaser. Next up is These Array. To me, this was the best horror movie of 2025. Period. Indian cinema, Western cinema, overall, this movie was just perfect in horror. Now, this is a Malayalam film made by the director Rahul Sadasivan, who is kind of, I can kind of call him the Jordan Peele of India, because he has given us a horror hat trick. After Brahma Yugam and Bhutakalam, this is a perfect cinematic masterpiece. This movie was released during Halloween, which is not kind of an usual strategy Indian horror movies follow, but boy, it paid off. It earned more than the action blockbusters just by the word of mouth. To watch this movie for the technical audacity of it, the sound design of Sadasivan's previous films was so good that it was actually a case study in one of the UK film schools, and he brought back the same team to mix it in Dolby Atmos. I'm telling you, the music is just so terrifyingly brilliant. It's silent at some points, and that's just so masterfully done, because if there's a creak in the house, you're just going to feel it in itself, because everything else is quiet. There's no other sound. Pin drop silence. The title itself means Day of Wrath, and this movie is kind of goes on a dual track of a mystery and horror mixed together. And I'm telling you, one of my biggest pet peeves in horror movies are when the characters don't act rationally. And that's 90% of the horror. You just go why would you open the door? Why do you have to go and check this? But I'm telling you, in this movie, everyone is acting so rationally. If you were there in their place, probably you would have taken the same decisions. So if you want a horror that is unsettling, in which silence is powerful, they don't rely on cheap jump scares to make you scared. If you want a movie that respects your intelligence while destroying your peace of mind, this is it. And the award it gets is Don't Ghost Your Ex award. Now for the surprise book vibe. Now, since this movie features this skeptic architect who moves back into a house, and where there's a battle between skepticism and rationality, I have the perfect literary twin for you. This book follows a woman who moves back into her Victorian house, which was made famous by her father's book on which involved ghosts as a memoir. And she moves back into this house just to prove the point that no, ghosts aren't real. And this book, like the movie, follows the twin path of a mystery and a horror story going side by side. Yes, I'm talking about Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. Next up is Metro Indino. Now, usually romance is a category, it doesn't like live up to the best movies just because of the fluff it comes with, especially for me, Blink Blink Sayara. But no, but Metro Indino has made it to my top 5 just because it's beautifully, painfully relatable.
इज़हार हो या ना हो, तेरे बिन मैं रह ना पाता हूँ, ये तुझसे कह ना पाता हूँ मैं, और मोहब्बत कितनी करूँ, इतनी तो मोहब्बत करता.
Directed by the master of hyperlink cinema, Anurag Basu. This movie is kind of like a successor to the 2007 movie Life in a Metro. And like that movie, this movie also follows an ensemble cast who are navigating their day-to-day lives in a metropolitan city and are struggling with their aspects of love life, let's say. And I'm telling you, this ensemble cast works perfectly together. Everyone acted really well. The standout for me, my favorite story was the one with Pankaj Tripathi and Konkona Sen Sharma. The comedy in this movie wasn't just like, like a slapstick comedy. It wasn't cheap. Like the whole theater, the whole cinema hall was laughing out loud in moments just because the situation itself was so funny and the acting was so on point. Sometimes the chemistry was so wonderful that we thought like these guys were actually a couple who were navigating these problems in their life. And the major backbone of this movie is this music by Preetham. I love the songs of this movie so much. I have played it on repeat ever since it came out. It is in my top 5 Spotify lists of the year, and I think all the top 5 songs are from this movie, from this album. I love the songs of the first movie. I adored the songs of the second movie as well. And just like a quick fact, like In Dino was one of the songs which was in the first movie, and this movie is called Metro In Dino. So Anurag Basu kind of kept that link to the old movie. And also to capture the heartbeat of the city, he kind of relied in like not making sets and getting extras, but like people in their day-to-day lives, and he tried to capture, or he tried to direct in between it to capture the heartbeat of the city at its original pace. The award it gets is the Laughing Through the Heartbreak Award. And for the surprise book vibe, so now if you love strangers getting connected through unexpected circumstances, I'm going to recommend you a book which kind of follows a very similar vibe of people leading their ordinary day-to-day lives, and suddenly they get stuck into an apartment viewing and kind of all of their deepest, darkest anxieties come out. Yes, I'm talking about Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. It matches up the vibe of the movie perfectly if you want to laugh one minute and cry the next, and kind of acknowledge the fact that everyone around you is kind of battling their own internal fight. This book is perfect for that. Next up is Dhurandhar. This is the highly anticipated return of Aditya Dhar. He had made Uri the Surgical Strike, and in this movie he just goes bigger. If you haven't watched this movie yet, clear your schedule because it's a whopping 3 hours 34 minutes long, making it one of the longest Hindi cinemas in 17 years. But don't worry, it doesn't get boring even for a second. It's going to hook you from the start to the end. And I really appreciate that when, like in this life of short attention span, when everyone just wants, 5-second stuff, something which can hook you for so long and you're invested in it, that's art in itself. This is a genre-defining movie. It will bring a seismic shift in the industry because it will finally tell you how to do an spy thriller or an espionage movie correctly. And it's by delving into the unglamorous, dark, gritty world of what it means to be a spy. Plot is a massive espionage thriller that merges fact and fiction and kind of shows you what an undercover agent has to go through while he tries to place himself deep inside the roots of Liari gang in Pakistan. But the real heart of the movie is also like it has its elements of gore and sacrifice and what people go through, but it's also this ability, this strange ability of these agents to swallow their anger and their pride and remain silent even as they face these darkest moments of history, just not to blow their cover. The production scale of this movie is baffling. They had to do the full production set of this Larry district in Thailand because filming in the original location is impossible. And they went on to film for so long that the whole movie actually is like around like more than 7 hours long. So they had to split it into two parts, and part two is coming out next year as per the end of the movie in March of next year. The numbers of the movie are shattering records. Like, I can't even keep track till now. Like, it was made with a huge budget, but it's increasingly becoming popular every weekend that it's passing by. Ranveer Singh in this movie is brilliant. He plays this restrained role of the spy, and one of the main heroes is actually the main villain of the movie, who does a fantastic job, who is Akshay Khanna. Like, just this man, you'll just can't take your eyes off him from the screen. The music is brilliant. The rest of the cast are Madhavan, Arjun Rampal, Sanjay Dutt, even the supporting cast, each and every person does a phenomenal job in this movie. In the era of 15-second TikTok videos, this movie has the guts to demand 3.5 hours of your life and grab you for every second of it. The award it gets is Intermission. What Intermission Award? And for the surprise book vibe, so if the scale of Dhurandhar has impressed you, I'm going to recommend another espionage thriller where this agent who just wants to retire, but he can't, and he has to come back and solve something for a faceless terrorist. I haven't read this book, but I own this book and I have heard great things about it. So I'm going to recommend you this book. The book is Anne Pilgrim by Terry Hayes. Please drop in comments below how you found this book. And finally, a movie that completely stole my heart this year. It's Super Boys of Malegaon. If you love cinema, if you love the art of filmmaking, this movie is mandatory. This movie chronicles the real life of Nasir Sheikh in Malegaon, who starts his own industry over there, making spoofs out of just duct tapes and sheer passion.
कौन सी पिक्चर बना रहे हो? इधर के लोगों के लिए इधर के लोगों के साथ मालेगांव के शोले. पैसे कितने?
There's a fascinating inception layer to this movie. So this movie is actually based on a documentary which is Supermen of Malegaon. So this is actually about a movie that features a documentary of men making movie in the documentary. The dedication in this movie was insane. The lead actor Adarsh Gaurav, he just didn't study the role. He actually moved back to Malegaon, studying Nasir Sheikh, staying with him, and giving a performance that demanded a standing ovation at the Toronto International Film Festival. Fun fact is, during his research, Adarsh Gaurav actually directed a short film to kind of help Nasir, who hadn't directed for a very long time due to financial constraints, and reignite his passion back into filmmaking. You need to watch this movie because it's the ultimate underdog story, which kind of tells you that you don't need $1 million to make a movie. You just need a camera, a passion, and just some crazy friends. It is hilarious, it is raw, it's emotional, and I'm telling you, the ending of the movie was just so perfect. It might end you up in this ugly crying, but it was just like, after watching the ending of the movie, I was just silent for a while, just thinking about it. Even today, when I think of the ending of the movie, I thought it ended at the perfect moment. The award it gets is the Pure Cinema No Filter Award. And for the surprise book vibe, I'm going to recommend you Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Just as Superboy finds laughter and joy even during their struggles in Malegaon, Trevor Noah's story also has this surprising wit and charm and laughter about it, even though he goes through his struggles in apartheid South Africa. Both of these stories, they masterfully balance this emotional, ugly crying with a wit, with the humor at the end. And that's going to balance this so well for you. And both of these stories are examples of impeccable storytelling because it will tell you the sheer struggles, the pain, the resilience, the tough times that people have to go through, but it will still end up leaving a smile on your face. So those were my top 5 Indian cinemas of this year. This year gave like absolutely stellar performances, great storytelling, great production, great effects. I think it was a great year for Indian cinema. Do me a favor, comment below of your favorite movies of this year. Yes, I am always looking for options to watch. If you like my book recommendations as well, let me know what you think about them. If you have any book recommendations that match the vibes of these stories, please let me know below. Till then, take care, keep watching, have a great time. Bye bye. Good night. Shubh Ratri.